Hi everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today I'm going to show you how I make this cute dress. I have made this dress before. I use a lace for the ruffles, and I also at the bottom edge I use a lace to design the bottom edge. For the bow has a very big large tail. It's really beautiful. I will put a picture on my right so that you can see how I make that dress. So that dress, I did not line in the dress, but for today I'm going to show you how you can line in your dress. And you can see that this is 2 ruffles layer. The one that I made before was just only 1 ruffle layer. That is totally up to you. You can make 2 ruffle layer or just 1, and you can make a tail at the bow can have a big tail or not, or you can just make it the way I make this one. And I have also shown how you can make your own bow on my video before. If you don't know, I will put the link down below so that you can go and check it out. This is the back of the dress, and this is the front of the dress. So this is how it is. So when you make your pattern paper, make sure that the neckline for the front will be 1 inch or half an inch. The back neckline, you can make it 5 inch, 6, 7, 8. That totally depends on you. But I will take you step by step on how you can achieve this dress. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If my tutorial has been helpful, thumbs up. Make a comment down below if you have any questions. And happy new year to all my subscribers, my viewers, and new subscribers, old subscribers. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. Fabric that I'm going to use, and this is my pattern paper. If you don't know how to make pattern paper, I have made pattern paper on my YouTube channel, so I will put the link down below so that you can go and watch that video. This is the front neckline of my pattern paper. It's not so deep. So the front neckline, if you're making this kind of dress, make sure the front neckline will be 1 inch or half an inch, not more than that. While the back neckline, you have to make it deeper, either 6, 7 or 7.5. Mine is 7.5, so you can make your 6 or 5. Depends how deep you want the neckline of your dress to look. And this is my fabric. If you're cutting the back fabric, make sure you put it on fold. Mine is on fold. You are not going to cut 2 pieces. You just put it on fold and cut it out. You cut the front, you also put it on fold and cut it out. So let's start put the dress together. First thing that you are going to do, you're going to put your made fabric together. Make sure both front of the made fabric are facing each other. You take the front and the back, you put them together. Just go ahead and pin the both shoulder seam together. Once you have done pinning, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. And you also do the same thing with your lining. Pull the both shoulder seam together, pin it in place, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Once you have done stitching, take it to an ironing board and press the seam apart. Stitch the both shoulder seam together, and I take it to my ironing board and I press the seam apart. The next thing that you have to do, you take your lining. This is my lining, so you are going to pull them together. So this is the front of my lining and this is the front of my made fabric. Make sure both front are facing each other. You're going to pin around the both armhole of the dress that you're making. Go ahead and pin the both armhole together. I have pinned the both armhole together. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, stitch the both armhole together. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched the both armhole together, and I take my scissors, I just snip around the curve. Make sure you should do the same. So the next thing that you have to do is to turn your dress inside out. So go ahead and turn it inside out like this. This is how it look right now. I will take it to my ironing board and give it a nice press. So go ahead and do the same. Iron my A-line dress together. This is how it is, and you can also see that I place a pin around the neckline. What I'm doing right here is that I want the lining and the made fabric to stick together, so I will just take it to my sewing machine and run a straight stitch. So I will set my sewing machine to 3.5. Once I am done with that, I will take my ruffle pieces. This is my ruffle pieces. I'm going to join them together because I don't have a long pieces, so I'm going to join all the pieces together. Make sure you set your sewing machine to 2.5. Then you can overlock the raw edges with zigzag all around. Once I am done joining it together, I will also take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to hem the bottom edge all around like this. So I will hem the white pieces fabric, and I will also hem the brown fabric. Once I am done with that, I will also go ahead and set my sewing machine to the longest stitch. I'm going to stitch it all the way down, and I will do the same thing on my brown fabric. So go ahead and stitch them in place. I have stitched around the neckline. This is how it is. I just place a pin to know the made part around the neckline, and this is my ruffle. I have also stitched it all around. Instead of me using zigzag to overlock the raw edges, I just make it at French seam. This is what is called French seam. And I also hem the ruffles all around. And as you can also see, I've stitched my gather stitch thread right here. Make sure to set your sewing machine to the longest stitch, and I put them together. This is the mid part of my ruffle right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them together. Make sure this is the front of my ruffle pieces and this is the back. So I will put them together like this. Make sure mid part are facing each other. Just go ahead and pin that in place. And then I will come down to the back. So I will just take the end of the ruffle pieces. I will place it at the back of the neckline. I will pin this in place, and I will do the same thing on the other side. So what you're going to do, you're going to gather this side on this side of the neckline, and then you come to this side, you gather this side on this side of the neckline. For this dress that I'm making, the brown fabric is at the bottom, while the white fabric will be on top of the brown fabric. So go ahead and gather it all around, and you will do the same thing with your second pieces of ruffle. But if you're going to use just one ruffle, just go ahead and gather it all around, take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. But if you're gathering two pieces, so it's going to be like this together. You can see how that will look. But two pieces of ruffles is optional. You can make it just one pieces. So go ahead and gather it all around, and I will meet you back right here. Pin around the neckline. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. Once you have done that, also go ahead and remove the gather stitch thread. So go ahead and top stitch. Stitch the neckline all around. This is how it is right now. The next thing that you have to do, you take your bias binding, or you can also make your own bias binding to bind the neckline all around. So what you're going to do, place it at the front like this, and you first stitch it all around, and then you fold it and fold it again and top stitch all over again. In my video or in my previous tutorial, I showed how to use bias binding to bind the neckline of your dress, or you're using bias binding to bind the armhole of your dress. So go ahead and use bias binding to bind the neckline of your dress, and then we can now put the both sides seam together. I have bind the neckline all around. This is how it finally looks. The next thing that you have to do is to put the both side seam of the dress together. Just pick your dress like this and turn it over. Make sure both main fabric are facing each other and both lining are separate. Just go ahead and pin around the both side seam together. I've pinned the both side seam of the dress together. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come to this side, you do the same thing, give it a top stitch all the way down. Once you have done stitching, turn it inside out and give it a nice press. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. I have stitched the both side seam of the A-line dress together. This is how it finally looks. This is the back of the dress, while this is the front of the dress. The next thing that you have to do is to hem your dress. Just take it to your sewing machine, fold it, and then fold it again and give it a top stitch all around. And then you also take the lining, you do the same thing. So I will fold the lining inside like this. Instead of like this, I will fold it like this and fold it, and then fold it again and give it a top stitch all around. So go ahead and hem your dress together. This is the final look of my A-line dress, and I attach a bow at the back. If you don't know how to make a bow, I have made a bow on my video before, and I will put the link down below so that you can make the bow for yourself. Please don't forget to watch the tutorial to the end. You can learn 1 or 2 things from this video. And you all should have a blessed day and a happy new year to you all. Bye.